Hello again, and welcome back to 80 Days. I'm John Little with this Crater Labs Let's Play, and, sorry for how abruptly that last video ended. I was just getting into it, and, well, my laptop helpfully reminded me that I needed to plug it in, and that automatically ended my recording. So I'm going to do a bit more. Like I said in the previous video, there's people sleeping in this building, and I don't want to wake them up with my video game playing. So anyway, this playthrough seed, I don't know what this means. In which Phileas Fogg and Passepartout accept each other, the one as master, the other as man. Alright, I don't know if that's something that can change, or if that's just related to my, I don't know if that's, like, related to how I've proceeded so far or not, but let's get back to this game. Day 5. I say... Market. Atlantic timetable. Routes were traveling across the Atlantic. Ooh. We'll hit the Pacific before we hit the Atlantic, so we probably don't need that yet. Delicate, high-quality snuff, leather braces. Traveling folk. Okay, you know what? I'll take this for now. Yeah, and why not? Probably don't need it. Clerical partial stuff myself, but I know gentlemen are crazy for it. Oh. Alright. So we depart. Rome. Better go to Rome. There's airships there. Look at rack space for 3 suitcases, which is ample. Like a bothersome experience, but the traveling cloak from our gentleman traveler set should make my master more comfortable. Okay. I happen to have that. We boarded the Blue Line ferry, named after the successful train line through France, and found a place on its crowded stern to wave at the port as we departed. When I say we, I do not mean myself and Monsieur Fogg, of course. Why do people stand at the back of a boat when it's departing and not the front? It's a good question. I'll ask that. I asked my companion, a young woman named Estelle, whom I had bumped into while hauling our cases up the ramp. She smiled sweetly. I think, she answered in her gentle, slightly lisping tone, it's because of what happens should you fall off. I looked over the rail of the sea. I smiled thinly. I don't know what a thin smile is, but I do it. Hoping to end our conversation there. We would be aboard for just one night. I did not want to be lumbered with polite company. Oh, greetings, Mademoiselle Estelle. Well, hello again, Monsieur. Conversation. Alright. I'm sure you know all about Rome. They say the Venetian artificers control all of Italy behind the scenes. Ooh. Intrigue. Meteora Valley. Oh, that sounds fun. Is it possible to go from Rome to Meteora? I wish I knew. There's neither a hotel, bank, nor market in Meteora Valley, but tell me, perhaps a turnaround deck? Oh, delightful. Warm wind so wonderful. I just asked her. Okay, I'll ask about that. Meteora Valley is beautiful, certainly, but somewhat overrated. Tehran, do you know collectors in Benares will pay fantastic amounts for astrolabes from Tehran? Okay. I didn't know that. Well, that's, I'm sorry, I have to run. Goodbye. I won't use that snuff yet. If I use it at all. Mademoiselle Estelle smiled at me as she entered the restaurant. Why not? She sat down opposite, smiling. I've worked it out, she announced cheerfully. What have you worked out? I'm glad to hear it. Feigning, she narrowed her eyes at me. Well, perhaps you will be, she said. That depends whether you would remain anonymous, and she winked. I was taken aback. Did you see me during my days in the circus as a youth? Had we caused such a stir on our journey so far? I cannot fathom what you mean. Surely not. At the time, I had been much younger and had often worn excessive quantities of grease paint. She pulled out a copy of the Times. Here, she cried, pulling it and lifting it to my attention. To my astonishment, it was a headline about our journey. Phileas Fogg attempts round-the-world adventure. Oh no. I must have colored. And she pointed a finger. I knew it was you, giddy with her discovery. She punched me on the arm. What an exciting adventure. Travel is most thrilling. I agreed. Especially now, for me, she replied. Fancy, my meeting Phileas Fogg himself. I paused. Let's go honesty. She interrupted. You're more dashing than the story made out, she continued excitedly. Wait until I tell my mother. Mademoiselle, I am not Phineas Fogg. I hate to, but I should. Of course, I understand, she tapped aside her nose, then triumphant made to get up. I'm sure you're in a hurry, so I won't keep you. Okay. Well, Mademoiselle, I replied, and grateful. As foggishly as I could muster, I returned to my lunch. See, you're an unassuming sort, Passepartout. We arrived into Rome the next day, and I began to unload our cases. When the captain stopped me. New regulations, he insisted, ordered by the new Italian regime. What regulations? You're traveling from England? Indeed so. Let's continue this tedious interruption. Captain nodded. Then you are required to sign this disclosure of Artificer's materials. He produced a long roll of paper, which I began to look over, when young Mademoiselle Estelle appeared. Monsieur Fogg, she cried. I quickly introduced my master to her. What else could I do? Mademoiselle Estelle took an uncertain step back, glancing between us. My master's sharp, aquiline profile, my own rounded Gallic features. Is it Gallic or Gallic? I nodded my head. I completed the forms. Mademoiselle, you wish to meet Monsieur Fogg? Ooh, I don't know if Mr. Fogg would like me saying that, but I said something. Oh, here he is. She thought for a moment. More than great. Oh, I understand, she said. Very good. There was clearly no use in explaining. Neither to her nor to my master, who was somewhat perplexed. Passepartout? He asked as Estelle hurried away in some confusion. Youth, monsieur, I replied feebly. Snuff will fetch a few pounds here. You are probably correct. Let's do so. Let's market. Let us sell the stuff, I think. Yes, let us sell this. Marble bust? Ooh. Caesar's desert scribes. That could be useful. Carbon blanket. That rolls up to fit easily in a case. Yes. I'll spend £1. Okay, well... hammer. Is it... new routes discovered? Okay. Oh. Dubai... Muscat, Day 21. Well, I suppose we must explore. Let's tossing a coin in the waters of the tribute fountain when the Bersaglieri marched into the square with their distinctive fast jog and began rounding everyone up. I tried to... Oh, I'm not sure who these are, but I don't like the sound of it. I ignored them as best as I could. Their uniform struck me idiotic. Okay. I don't know what their uniform looks like. White trousers, spats, and a wide-brimmed cap decorated with a fall of gleaming black capercaillie feathers. I should look that word up so I know what it means. In my contemplation, I lost any chance to slip away. No matter, there were too many of them to avoid. A lanky man with only the sparse beginnings of a mustache gestured at me with his rifle. No, in fact, his entire arm was a rifle. It's attached to his shoulder with iron bands inlaid with elaborate symbols. Okay. I looked at his other hand, which was flesh and blood, but fitted with a bladed gauntlet of Murano glass and copper. Similar modifications to their bodies. They were half man, half automaton. Hey, it's my friend. It's my friend, Max. Kome Chiyama, the blue-eyed soldier barked. Of course I understood, but I pretended not. I don't. Opened my mouth to reply. When someone jostled me from behind, I turned to see a figure in gray reaching into their pocket and then tossing out a grenade. I am no fool. I ran for my life. Yes. It is the Zouave, an equally fleet-footed woman declared. They hate the Scuola for what they have done to the young people. I did not know what she meant. I understood immediately. This game is testing my knowledge of European history, and I have to confess I don't actually know it that well. I did not know what she meant until she tapped her shoulder, then pointed at the blue-eyed, augmented soldier I had met. Oh, well, maybe it's not history, maybe it's fiction. As I slowed to a walk, and then made my way back to Monsieur Fogg. I could not help but see more signs of Scuola's influence. I kept my eyes down and did not look at the people. Scuola's influence in Rome. Cobblers strapped into gleaming exoskeletons, glass blowers with ceramic hands, porcelain-faced automata fetching water and stroking fires, and even soliciting passing trade alongside working girls in scandalously low-cut dresses. Perhaps Rome is the future. I confess I do not know. Okay, we must depart ASAP. Let's go. Oh, I just narrowly avoided tomorrow before 5. I almost had that. Okay. Can I turn the world? Rome. Perhaps Tuesday. Limp. When's a blimp leave? Limp Athens. Drake will have to spend the night. I want to take this. Hotel. We'll pass the night here. Good. His spirits are lifting. For what remained of the day, I afforded my master every service. I helped the kitchen staff clean. Spent a few hours walking around. Let's do that. I afforded my master every service. Relations with Fogg have improved slightly. Oh, good. We're back up to 100. And now we can depart. I really like the look of this. Arrives Wednesday. Arrives tomorrow. Embark. 3 suitcases, which is ample. But the traveling cloak from our gentleman traveler set should make things easier. Go! The Icarus. We boarded a commercial passenger airship in one of Rome's many docks. The stowing of luggage was handled by lines of figures with hooks and extendable poles fitted into their arms. I watched with an acrobat's interest, and I could not look. They were abominations. I grew up in the circus. As they flung cases to one another, swung in and out of the cargo hold, moving about like monkeys. They were cheerful types, full of raucous humor and efficient, for we were all within the cabin of the craft within a few hours, and the ship itself was tugging at its docking ropes after an hour or so more. service, Monsieur Fogg. Ah, bumbling Passepartout. Journey. How is your progress, Monsieur? Day 7, I believe? Early days. What about Athens? What do you learn about Athens? All anyone knows about Athens is its ancient history. About Cairo. Hey, bro. Cairo is a magnificent place, but it's easy to get lost there. Very good, sir. That was British, but Passepartout was supposed to be French. There's that meteoral valley. The trip was long and somewhat slow. I find the waiting involved in traveling interminable. I would rather there were more rushing headlong into adventure and a little less planning and preparation. After all, I find no plan survives longer than the day on which it was made. The airship crossed Italy, and we were approached by one of the cabin staff, a middle-aged lady whose serving tray was joined to a... What did I just click? Left coffee, I asked. Or would you prefer a pressé? I shook my head at both, and she moved along to the next passenger, who ordered a coffee. Looking away for a moment, I did not see where she produced it from, but a moment later a cup was streaming on the tray. Italian women, they have hidden depths. Relations with Fogg have improved slightly. My character is now shabby. Is there any way I can... Can I use that grooming kit on myself? The Aegean below sparkled like a diamond-covered cloth. Even from this great height, we could see the ferryboats plying their trade back and forth across the water, and I did not accidentally click something this time. Will airships remove the need for sea travel? How do we stay up in the air? I'll ask that one. I mused to the man next to me, a short Greek fellow with thick spectacles, who tutted with concern. I hope not, he answered, since boats are my livelihood. Putting out his hand, he introduced himself as Dimitri Sophos, owner of a shipping freight company that ran goods between Greece and North Africa. I inquired into departures, and he was happy to provide me with a pamphlet outlining the routes and timings. The one of most interest was a sailing to Cairo, which was leaving tomorrow. I took it to my master directly. He nodded with deep satisfaction. Yes, that would certainly be a possibility, he declared, then reclined back, happy to sleep until we docked. We're going to Cairo, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. We discovered new routes. I'm going to Cairo. Going to Cairo. And we made it. Past Apollo. Well, I've already got these. So, I suppose a little more won't hurt. Okay, let's do that. And plan. Go to Cairo. Cairo's magnificent. It's easy to get lost there. Cairo tomorrow at 8 a.m. Okay. And those are the routes I know, but I don't know. That's really the only route that I know. Well, bank opens at 10 a.m. I don't have time for that. Spend the night. We'll pass the night here. I keep accidentally clicking. My master was not, as a rule, particularly interested in the fabulous locales and exotic cities we journeyed through. Athens was the exception that proved the rule. His sudden interest was not limited to the city. He fixed me with a look. Do you speak Greek? I spent a glorious summer with a Greek contortionist. I did, though I will not go into the circumstances. Not enough to find our way around, I replied, rather prosaically. My master nodded sadly. The Demotic variant more commonly spoken to the streets eluded him. We were reduced to asking for directions through a combination of mime, moi, opposite quotations from Homer, my master, and half-remembered flattery, moi encore. We picked our way through the labyrinthine streets of the Plaka and up to the Acropolis. I am butchering these words, I'm sure. I gazed at the Parthenon. I watched Monsieur Fogg. I checked my watch discreetly. Ruins from the past held no attraction for me, especially when a decent night's sleep hung in the balance. Let us depart for Cairo. Embark! Traveling cloak will help. Okay, go! Alright. We found our way to Sophos ferry terminal in good time and waved a greeting to the owner, who was visiting to inspect his fleet. "Passepartout!" he cried cheerfully. "You will join with me and drink some Retsina?" Monsieur Fogg lifted an eyebrow, but said nothing. "I would," I replied, "but I cannot, or that would be most enjoyable." Oof. We'll build good relations, I guess. The master shook his head just a tiniest fraction before spying a local cafe and placing himself down outside it. But there was something in Sophos' manner. That hinted at more than just a desire for society, and my instincts were quite correct. He leant forward. "Listen, Passepartout, I could use a man like you, discreet, loyal." I nodded, recognizing the description of myself. I laughed politely, thinking the little man's spectacles were perhaps not thick enough. "It's no laughing matter," he hissed seriously. "One of the men who works for me in Antalya is a man named Fontaine. He's meant to manage the import and export of black olives, but I do not think that is all he is importing." "Why don't you ask him?" Sophos shook his head. "There's no way I can walk into his dockyard and find out the truth. I own his dockyard. No, I need an outsider, a stranger, someone who cannot be connected to me, but with a keen eye and an honest streak. Now that I met you, young Passepartout, tell me, will you help me?" But we are going to Cairo, not Antalya." He whipped that away. "That is your only concern. That is easily rearranged." "Well, no, the boss needs me." "The master needs me, however. I cannot go taking on other jobs." "I see," he answered, nodding slowly. He pulled a long leather wallet from his pocket and laid it on the table. "Tell me, Passepartout, are you the sort of man to be motivated by money?" "Never," I lie. "Then what is it you want?" he asked, puzzled. "We are going around the world," I told him. "We need transport, connections, speed." "Very well, then," he agreed. "From Antalya, take the boat to Beirut. I'll meet you there with a private airship to carry you as far as Manama. From there, there's a fast boat to Bombay." "Okay, Bombay is in India." I shook his hand. He slapped me on the shoulder and sent me back to Monsieur Fogg. We clambered aboard Sophos' ferry, finding some space between barrels of olives and large packing crates that smelled of fish. Soon the rope slipped from its ring and we were away. I'm now steadfast again. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's helpful. Hello, converse. Well, Passepartout, welcome aboard. Antalya. What do you know about Antalya? Most beautiful places on the earth. Antalya to Beirut. So to take boats, I've heard one can travel by fishermen's boats from Vladivostok to Pyongyang, but the journey is a tiring one. Ooh. Okay, anything else? Pyongyang. Let me tell you that you can pick up magnifying glasses in Pyongyang. You can sell for profit in Singapore. Ooh. You tell me more about Singapore. Some people say merchants in Yokohama will pay fantastic amounts for sheets of tin from Singapore. New routes discovered. Oh boy. This company ferry. Let's see. A shaped mustache. Excellent. Oh, good. Oh, no. Sophos was true to his word. Somewhere in the midst of the Aegean, we turned round, until a few hours later we were arriving on the coast of Turkey. Monsieur Fogg seemed perturbed by this turn of events, but did not mutter a word as we disembarked. I am in roaring health, but we must make haste. There we go. Don't really need any more here, I think. Let's see, our plan. Trying to get to Beirut. Arrives Monday. I suspect this departure could be altered. Ha. Ooh, that's a lot of money to leave tomorrow. Okay, wait, no. I didn't plan that right. We're in Beirut. Negotiate days. Yeah, let's not break the bank, but let's... I should prepare you as far as Manama, Sophos. Alright. It's a route that I'm not on, I guess. Opens Monday, and I'm not going to be there for that. We need to go to the hotel. We'll pass the night here. Hopefully his mood improves a little. Spent my afternoon rambling around Kalerki, the historical center of Antalya, which was where I happened upon a group of Turkish dock hands unloading crates of Venetian goods into a warehouse flying the French flag. They had a passable grasp of French, speaking to them was tiresome, or I had no interest in dock hands. No doubt a prerequisite of working for their French employer, one Monsieur Fontaine. Though we've never met him, one of them added bitterly. I had found Monsieur Sophos' curious Monsieur Fontaine, after a fashion at least. Is he a good employer? I nodded and moved along. That is no... Oh, so I can pretend to be him? Okay. No longer the case, I lied, bowing flamboyantly, for I am Monsieur Fontaine. What can I say? I could not resist. He gave a booming laugh, the sort that Monsieur Fontaine of my imaginings would boom. Alas, behind his bluff exterior, he had only recently suffered heartbreak. Such an empathetic fellow he was, prone to making friends. He was a convivial sort, full of cheer. He was prone to making friends. And acts of random generosity. No, don't be generous. Alas, my invented backstory saw me doling out banknotes to these dockhands quite haphazardly. Thus I was ensconced in my role. I spent a cheerful if deceptive afternoon, getting to know my employees and inspecting the merchandise. They cracked open a crate to reveal a treasure trove of Venetian glass, glittering blue in the Anatolian sun. Is this all? I demanded in some surprise. Time for a gambit. Where's the rest of it? The men looked surprised. The rest? The special shipments? I replied with an insinuating look. But the foreman only shook his head. This is all there is, monsieur. The boxes are labeled as olives, of course, and we all know that's not what they are, but it's glass, only glass. I took a piece for myself, turning it over my palm. Indeed, it was merely glass, a curious development. Would this news be enough to earn us passage aboard Monsieur Sophos' airship from Beirut? Oh, I hope so. Goodness, I hope so. Are we at 11 a.m.? 600 City. I don't know if that's... You know what? Why not? Literally gonna go for broke. Good. Has space for 3 suitcases, but we have 4 open luggage. We're gonna need that. What do I not need? I don't need that right now. There we go. Okay, now let's go. Embark. -6 + 5. Go. The Nefertiti was a tall, masted Egyptian clipper that sailed around the coastline from Antalya all the way to Alexandria. I asked the skipper if he'd considered longer voyages. via the Suez Canal, but he only laughed. The fees, young man, are quite extortionate. I could not argue with that. How extortionate? He gave me a pointed look. You will not buy me or my boat, he replied, if that is your intention. My liberty is worth more coin than you have. I nodded, and we did not pursue the conversation further. Thanks for your attention, sir. Most beneficial. Oh, good. The evening drew on, and the crew served gin slings with great cheer. The captain nodded to me as the liquor was poured. Enjoy, he called, for as long as you are with us. I saluted him with my glass, and savored the cool drink as the sun went down in fire and smoke across the sea. Merchant Trader Nefertiti, we have arrived in Beirut. Alright, well, this is where I'm going to cut it for today. Because it is late, people are still sleeping, and this is super exciting, but I will stay up all night if I keep playing. So, thank you for joining me this far in 80 days. Let's see if I can make it around the world next time when we play more. Later, everyone.